Listen, sit down and then do it. I'm going to.
Chaim v'libracha. The last remnants of my cold should be gone. I've tried water. I've tried coffee. Now we have to get something stronger, right? Just like evil in the world, the last remnants of evil are in the world. It's going to be all knocked out, and Mashiach can come. The last remnants of my cold, knocked out with a l'chaim. L'chaim, everybody. L'chaim v'bracha. Who are you? We learn in Tanya, you have a godly soul. Godly soul that God put in us. But we also learn that we have a animal soul. And our first responder in life is the animal soul. In other words, unless someone is righteous, our first response to anything will be our natural inclination, who we are naturally, and that is our animal soul. And therefore the Beinoni and all of us, who we are Beinoni in training, Beinoni in training, we're working to diminish the influence of the animal soul. Sometimes we have to crush it. But at least we take ownership for what we have to take ownership in order to change the world, change our world. That's the world inside of us. Change comes from within, right? So, although our animal soul is our first responder and we need to own that, who do I identify with? Who do I identify with? Who do I, maybe, again, not my first responder, but my identity? I don't mean identity here, I'm a Jew, that's my identity, right? Some of you might be, I don't know, identify based on your faith. Some of you might identify based on, the country of origin. Some of you, whatever, lack an identity. Trying to find yourself, right? But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking inside of you, your inner makings. What do you identify with? That's the question. Who you? Welcome to Tanya Today. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Zichron Kadesh in Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. We're chapter 31. And we're talking about now joy. About joy. So the joy, we said, was the profit that comes from the sadness and better yet, the bitterness that a person has towards themselves. And bitterness can only be towards yourself. And when you do something wrong and you feel bitter about what you did. That's a very strong way to own what you did. Very strong way. Yeah. Happened to me yesterday. you know, doing something, ugh, feel bitter about it. And that's good because it changed then the direction. And it can change the direction in a moment. So when you're bitter about the things that you need to fix and you now own it, fix it, guess what comes after that? What's the profit from that? Joy. You have a joy in fixing something inside of you. It's a double joy. Why double joy? Because not only did you get rid of the negative feelings of sadness first, right? Not bitterness is not negative, right? It's not negative. It's a negative that's positive, right? But the sadness that you had first were feeling down because of your situation, of your personal lack. So you got rid of that and you replaced it, not with nothing, not a vacuum, can't have a vacuum. You replaced it with joy. So that's a double reason for joy. And on top of that, you fix something in your life. Wow. And now comes another level of joy on top of this, on top of what we just said, that there's no doubt I have a part in me that's despicable. We all have that unless you're righteous. We all have a part in us that we could do nasty things. And even if we don't do the nasty things, right? You're a Bainity. So you have complete mastery of thought, speech, and action. But you're capable of doing something that's against God. That's wrong, right? So even though I have that part within me, and I've dealt with it, I've fixed, right, whatever I need to fix. But even though I have that part of me, but that's only a part of me. That's my body and animating soul, my animal soul. But yet I have something else within me that's literally a part of God, mamish, not figuratively a part of God, literally a part of God, right? And it's present, a part of what makes me a Jew, and every Jew, right? The only thing is that part within me, that part of God, is in exile, right? Uh, and actually, the more I'm removed from God, the more my part of God that's in me is in exile, deeper exile. Okay, fine. But you know what I'm going to do? This is a conversation you have with yourself that brings you to the next level of joy, a higher level. That I'm going to put all of my efforts to extricate my soul from exile, my divine soul from exile. And I will absorb myself to be united with God. I'll concentrate all of my aspirations to connect to God and everything that I do. This is especially true with the mitzvah of prayer, which is, an auspicious time to release the soul, the divine soul from exile. I'll cry out to God, release me from my body and animal soul that are trying to push down my real true self, my divine soul. And this kind of service is what we call tshuva u'maisim tovim, of doing repentance with good deeds. This is a repentance. Not a repentance over because I did something wrong. That I already dealt with. I dealt with whatever I need to deal with. Tshuva means to return to God through doing good, through doing the mitzvah. Not about fixing what I need to fix. That I already dealt with, and there was a joy that came from that. Now I'm going to focus in. It's true I've got that part in me that's negative, but I'm not going to focus on that. I'm going to focus on that part of God within me and try to extricate it from prison. That it should be authentically revealed. How's that going to happen? Through a sense of returning to connect to God through the mitzvah, especially the mitzvah prayer, right? Especially the mitzvah prayer. Because tshuva means to return. What am I returning? My divine soul that's been in exile, that's been in imprisonment. And now I'm returning it. Wow.
1 hour Cuba.
Wow.
1 hour Cuba with good deeds in the world is better than all the life the world to come.
Yeah. Yeah. 1 hour, even, a moment of returning your soul, the peace of God within you, to God through the mitzvahs is more valuable than all of the pleasure the soul will have in the world to come. Every other faith and religion, even Jews can think that, oh, everything I do here, I'm going to get great pleasure in the world to come. No, 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 no. Doing a mitzvah, extricating your soul, your divine soul, to connect to God through the mitzvah is more valuable, even though you may not experience. You're not going to experience it like the soul will experience the pleasure it has in the Garden of Eden. Yet, this is greater, much more valuable. How powerful and amazing is this? So, in terms of joy, we have joy, a double joy, because through breaking the negativity from within, that I came to that partially because of kind of being down on my situation. So there's a double joy there because you're not down anymore. And not only that, you fixed what you fixed. So that's a double joy. Not only going out of a bad place, but going into a good space. In that good space, there's now a new recognition. Yeah. Actually, David, collect everything. Put it away. Just collect everything and put it away because my wife is going to have a class soon.
I'm doing it now.
Thank you.
Exactly what I'm doing.
Thank you. So how powerful is that?
What's your wife?
How powerful is that? Now that I've gotten out of that, in that good space, there's even a better space to get into. And that is to recognize, yes, I've got that piece in me that's negative. But that's not my identity. That's not who I am. Who I really am is that divine soul. But that the divine soul is in exile. So I'm going to extricate it. How? By focusing on putting all my effort to connect to God, tshuva, returning my soul to God. How am I going to return my soul? Again, through the good deeds, through the mitzvahs that we do. I'm going to focus in on that. And that brings me to the next level of great joy. Extricating, first of all, identifying with your divine soul. And then focusing on that. That's the real me. That's the real me. And I'm going to now focus on just doing good. Good, for God's sake. For goodness sake. Psh. Wow. Any questions, any thoughts? I don't see any questions. Oh, Jeff, what if you're doing a good deed only for the motivation to return your soul and not for the good deed itself? You mean you're doing it because that's the godly thing to do? What God needs and wants of you to do? I'm not clear on the question. How? Yeah, so that's even in a way that's greater because you're doing it in a sense for God's sake, right? And that's beautiful. So I'm not certain that that's not a good thing. All right, folks. I hope that helped you. Rambam coming up. Rabbi Ronnie Fine coming to you from Chabad Zechik, Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege.